Today I wanted to go over the newly released power array augment, the Lobo's Mania. With it comes a ton of different abilities and combos and power interactions. I really want to focus in on the more useful parts of this augment. There's a couple moves on here that are cool, they're fun, but they really just don't perform the way that I'm looking for. The ones that I do want to pay attention to, most notably, is going to be Bounty Hunt. And this one is more or less the focal point of this entire augment. The reason for that is the two interactions that it has is Scorpion Poison being the first one, which is a 12-second duration. You can place it on a single target. You can apply up to 3 stacks of Scorpion Poison, which will, at max stacks get you anywhere from 1 to 2.5 mil typically in that 12-second duration on a single target. So not anything crazy to write home about, but it's added, 1 to 2.5 mil, like I say. So passive, it's just nice to have. The second part of it, and this is probably what everybody is looking at right now, is the hyped up benefit, which is a 15-second duration. And during that 15 seconds, you are buffed with 15% increased might and 7.5% increased precision. Really easy to apply and activate the hyped up benefit. Literally all you have to do is use this ability at the beginning of your encounters, whether it be ads in the hallway or on a boss target. In a scenario of ads in a hallway, chances are that you will probably kill your target before you're able to get the 3 stacks of poison up on it, in which case you will receive the hyped up benefit instantaneously. In boss fight scenarios, more than likely you're going to be stacking up the Scorpion Poison, which isn't hard to do. You can either A, use a ability from the augment that has its own built-in % chance to apply a Scorpion stack, or, as it states here, once you apply Bounty Hunt, all of your attacks, any attack that does damage, has a 10% chance to apply a Scorpion stack, which with something like Aquatic Arsenal, where it's repeated rapid hits, or something like Whiplash Payload, you're going to get those poison stacks relatively quick. On average, I'm seeing anywhere between 2 to 7 seconds. I know it's kind of a 5-second gap, but at the end of the day, at max 7 seconds isn't too bad. In most scenarios, it won't be that long. But regardless, very, very good ability, and the 15% might, of course, is great. What's interesting though is what it does for some of its abilities and its supercharge. With Space Dolphin Swarm in particular, Space Dolphin Swarm is kind of like a Shark Frenzy in a way. But when you activate the hyped up benefit, as soon as that $sign explodes, you know you've got it. Your hands will get a red aura around them. And when you pop the dolphins this time, you get a third dolphin that comes after and does additional damage. So it's like Shark Frenzy times 2 with one ability. So that's pretty nice. As far as what it does for the super, and the super is also something I want to take a moment to talk about. It says the Spacehog will fire even more rounds, expanding the cone. The rounds also deal increased damage and burns enemies. This move is also guaranteed to place a Scorpion Poison stack on marked targets by Bounty Hunt. I would say though, I would never ever use this without the Bounty Hunt benefit, because it almost doubles the damage output from it. It's like a 1.5 times boost. So very worth it to have the benefit. On top of that, you go from a 30-degree cone at base to a 45-degree cone when you have the hyped up, which is a huge difference. and instead of 20 meters, it's 25 meters, so you're able to cover most boss room encounters almost wall to wall. Of course, with it being a cone damage radius, you know, you gotta rely on smart positioning and timing. Aside from that drawback, I would say the only other drawback to it is the fact that there is a 2-second to 3-second long animation period where you're stationary and you're forced to be in that one spot. But like I say, to really max out the potential of it, it's going to be about timing, it's going to be about positioning, and honestly just being familiar with the encounters that you're running, knowing where to stand, when to hit certain abilities. You know, all that plays a key factor into doing great DPS. But the one thing that I would like to say about it is it does more damage than Sunstone Dust Blast, even in its base form, by basically double on the sparring targets. And that's just the sparring targets. In raid scenarios, you know, Sunstone Dust Blast is only really going to hit anything, you know, 5 meters around you. So this little square right here is about all it's going to affect. Whereas I can stand halfway to the back of the room, facing a group of ads, and use the Spacehog rampage, and it's going to hit everything in that 45-degree cone radius and do insane amounts of damage. Literally can clear rooms with it. And if you've seen the YouTube short, and that's what brought you here, you're very aware of that. If you haven't seen it, I am going to put the link to that short in the description, so you can at least take a look and see how the rotation functions and what kind of damage it's capable of putting out. But as far as the augment, I would say those are the most notable things about it. The hook pull, you know, it's okay for single target DPS. I think right now there's a little bug with it. I don't really want to mess with it, but it's just okay. I think where it's really going to shine and be useful is in the hands of a tank for a scenario in a raid where you need to separate a single ad or a boss from the rest of the group. It's a really good single target pull. It's got a 25 meter range, so you can be very far away and still have it be effective. And it does decent enough damage as far as the single target's concerned. The other move, Hunter's Arsenal, I'm just going to keep it a buck with you. This is 1000% a munitions reskin, and it's cool. The sound effects are cool. I can tell they mess with those a little bit. But all in all, just like I say, not as effective as something like even Space Dolphin Swarm, for example. But yeah, that's pretty much my take away from this this new augment. Some of the things I liked, some of the things I thought were, like I say, a little mediocre. Well, that'll do it for this video. If you got any questions, if you want to put this build together and try it out, let me know how it does for you. If you've used it, if you found any other little tips and tricks concerning the augment, let me know in the comments. Give me some feedback, whether or not you're going to be using it, or if you're not interested, I'd love to know why.